Hey, welcome back. I'm John Tabler, and today we're going to see what happens with some starter that's been in the refrigerator for 3 or 4 weeks. And will it poison you? Is it bad for you? Can it harm you? Well, when you take a look at it, it definitely makes you take a step back at first. I'm going to pull the top off and show you. Got a little piece of plastic on there. So on the top, it starts getting a black or a darker colored liquid that sits on the top. And that's called the hooch. It has some alcoholic content in it. And I said in past videos that comes from an Indian tribe off the coast of British Columbia called the Huchinu, which actually made their alcoholic beverages like that. And that's why it's called that. But it's really exposed to the air, and it's a fungal growth that starts happening. And really, it cannot permeate the lower part because the lower part has become preserved, and the composition that happens into the preserved substance actually repels any fungus or anything that would break down or rot anything in nature. That's why it's so good for you and is probiotic or pro-life as opposed to antibiotic or breaking down life or against life, which is what the fungal growth is. It happens across the top of it. And many say you can stir that in. It would be eradicated in the substance if you did. But when it sits that long, what I do is I just pour it off. And so that's what I'm going to do. And you see the top. It sits on the top, but once you pour that off, then what we have left is just the same color, and then I take and scrape off the first at least half of an inch, so I get rid of all the stuff that was on the top. And once you get down to that level, it hasn't been permeated at all. And so then what I do is I take another cup, and we definitely want the other cup to be free from any chlorine water. So you can rinse it out with spring water or purified water, reverse osmosis water, and dry it out. And I've already done that. Then what I do is I just take the good starter that's at the bottom of the cup, because it has a lot of stuff on the side that you don't want where fungal growths start happening. You want the pure starter that's right in it, in the bottom, underneath about a ½ inch layer. And we're going to put that into another cup and make it all pretty. Then I'm going to take my freshly ground wheat, but you can get 100% whole wheat flour and use that. Why would you want to use anything less? You're eating for nourishment. If you start getting other types of flour where they've taken all the vitamins out of it or use chemicals to whiten it, you're just eating a non-food. So I get 100% ground whole wheat flour, and I put about I put about an inch of flour in there. A couple tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Doesn't really matter. The bottom, the part that's already been starter, is going to ignite it. I put some water in it, and I'm going to stir it all up. You don't want to get too much water, but it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Just enough so you can stir it. You're stirring in that new ground wheat. And there you go. You've rejuvenated your starter that had been sitting in the refrigerator for quite some time. There's really no reason whatsoever to, what I consider is, deplete your starter force by stirring in that fungal growth on the top of it into the starter. There's really no reason to do that, because now you have a perfectly good starter. And so you can also, as I've said, take a small piece of plastic or covering and put over the top, push it down in the middle, you kind of create an airlock, keeps it from air. Doesn't make a lot of difference. It's going to be done in 8 hours. I'll come back in 8 hours and we'll take a look at it and see exactly what's happened, and we'll be ready to make our sourdough bread. Okay, here we are about 9 hours later, and you can see this starter was about that high before. It's bubbled up to the top. I'm going to pull that plastic off. And you can see it is completely bubbly. And that is a rejuvenated, perfectly done starter. Right now, all you do is you pour your flour into the bowl and make a dough ball with purified water. And always remember, when I filled water up into this, when I added the flour earlier, I only used purified water to add to it. You never want to use chlorine or chlorinated water or anything that hasn't been purified. Spring water will work fine, and reverse osmosis water, purified water, but nothing with chlorine in it. It will not work. It will kill everything in it. But right now, that is perfect, and that's ready to use to make bread. You just put your flour and your water and make a dough ball and put about 4 tablespoons of that in it, mix it up, set it aside, let it sit overnight, and then bake it. So as you can see, that's a fully functioning starter. It came out perfectly. That's how you rejuvenate a starter that's been sitting in the refrigerator for a long time, and you don't have to worry about it causing you any harm or being poisoned or anything like that. As you can see, it's come out perfectly, and it's really time to make your bread. So hit the like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video.